Hello, this video will be another in my 2017 Mother's Day cards. This card features a Tim Holtz stamp set, which is called Mini Bouquet, and the matching die cuts. I have a little watercoloring going on, a little watercolor wash, and a simple white frame. The inside of the card does a little slight masking and a sentiment around a flower that I watercolored. It's a very simple card. You can recreate it even if you don't have this stamp set and dies with whatever flower stamps that you did have. If you didn't have dies for the stamp set that you had, you could just do them flat to the card instead of popping it up, or you could stamp it on paper, color it, and then hand cut it with scissors. Let me go over the materials that this card uses. Okay, I have a card base cut 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a white panel cut 4 by 5 1/4. I have a white panel which is cut 3 1/4 by 4 1/5. 4 1/5. 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. There, I got it out. I also have a white panel of watercolor paper, which is 3 inches by 4 1/4, and I have another panel of watercolor paper, which is about 3 inches, a little bit more. I also needed a piece of scrap white and a piece of white copy paper. Because I'm going to be doing some embossing, I need my clear embossing powder and my embossing buddy. The ink I'm going to be using is not that much. I'm just using my old standard Versafine Onyx Black and Distress Stain Broken China by Ranger. I have different Zig Clean Color markers. Let me get so you can see the name of it. Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I have listed the colors that I'm going to be using on the comment section of this video. You can see that below. I also have 2 watercolor pencils, excuse me, 3, 2 purple and a green. I'm going to be using my sparkle pen, Spectrum Noir. Let me move this out of the way. The stamp sets I'm using today will be Stampin' Up! Crazy About You, and Stampers Anonymous Mini Bouquet stamp set, and the matching framelits. This framelit set has the framelits to cut out all of these, and there's another stamp set called what's it called? Flower Garden, and it's all of these stamps just in larger form. And this die cut set has the die cuts for both. So it is 18 different dies in here. This is a really good purchase. If you're thinking of buying this, go that extra mile and get the small flowers, the large flowers, and the die cut set for both, and then you will be set. These are really good set. And I also have the Circles by Hero Arts stamp set. Okay, let me clear away some of this stuff and I'll just jump right in. The first step will be to do my watercolor flowers. I have my Misty tool and I have my watercolor flowers already in place on my the door of the Misty. So I'm going to bring in my watercolor panel, the one that's about 3 inches, and I'll make sure that I have enough space. Yes, I do. And I'm going to stamp it with the Versafine, and once it's stamped, I'm going to immediately put it into the clear embossing powder, which will stick to the wet ink, and then I can take it and use my embossing gun and just heat set it, and I will eliminate the step of having to use the Versafine on top of that. If I'm ever embossing black, I always do the clear over black ink rather than do the black embossing powder, because I find that I make a real mess. I get little bits of powder everywhere, and instead of getting a nice crisp image, I get little speckly dots. So I always do the clear over the black. So let me just go right in and show you how. You have to have your embossing powder ready to go. Oh, before I do that, I want to make sure that the embossing powder doesn't stick anywhere except on the ink. So I'm going to run my tool over it and put a good bit of ink on the stamp. I have recently re-inked this stamp set, so I know it's good and juicy. And just stamp it. I'm using the Misty tool for this, even though you didn't have to, because sometimes on the watercolor paper you don't get a good impression the first time out, and you can re-stamp it. But I did a good one here, so let's just go ahead and put the clear powder directly on it. Turn it around. Hit the back and get the extra off. Good. Good coverage. Now I'm going to take this and stick it under my heat gun. I'll be right back. Okay, so now it's all embossed and it's raised up and it looks really good. You can't see it on camera. So I'm going to set this out of the way for a moment and take away the Misty for now. Now I'm going to move on to my watercoloring of my panel. So I need a really big paintbrush for this. Could use a smaller one, but I had best luck with the larger one. My craft mat is, let me move everything out of the way because I don't want to make a mess. So I'm temporarily moving the card out, but I'll bring it back. My craft mat is waterproof, and it also resists stains. So I'm going to use this here and I'll be able to easily clean it up. But I also want to not make too much of a mess, so I'm bringing in a little bit of copy paper. So I'm taking the distress stain and I'm going to just go all the way across the entire length of the paper, very lightly all the way across. And then I'm going to spray a little bit of water on my mat and pick up the water in my brush and smooth this out all the way to the top. Try to do smooth strokes. And then I'm going to go over one more time, so it will be a little bit darker on one side than the other. Okay, a little bit more smoothing with the water. And I need the top also, a little bit smoother at the top, because I missed a few spots. Distress ink reacts well to water, so I'll get a good blending from this. Okay, I think that's good. Now I'm going to hit this with my heat gun and dry it out. I'll be right back. And now I have my panel all dry, so I'm going to clean this up real quick. Just a paper towel, comes right up. Alright, now I'm going to bring my Misty back. Don't need that. And I'm going to stamp the stem onto this panel now. So again, I need my embossing buddy to make sure that the embossing powder does not stick where I don't want it. And same thing again. Clear embossing powder. And Versafine. Good. And dump it right in. And you can see this is a little better, I think, than the other one. It looks a little dusty. That way you know that you have good coverage. So again, heat gun, and I'll be right back. Clean this up real quick. This is my dirty rag, but it's saturated with my stamp cleaning solution. You can see the video for how to make that on my channel. The final thing that I need is the little sentiment in the corner. And again, same trick. You can see the difference between the embossed bit and the powdered bit. It looks very gray. Now I'm going to go heat this up. Now that's ready. Clear this up again and we'll move on. Now I'm going to move on to doing the inside panel. I have this stamp set, which is it was in a mother's bouquet, I think the name of it is. Let me check. Mother's Love stamp set. So I'm going to stamp this on the panel. I can't use the Misty for this because it's a wooden stamp. So I hope I'll get it straight. Start off straight and hopefully you'll end up straight. So just stamp straight down and straight up. Okay. Now I want to mask this off, so this is what the little strip of paper was for. So I'm going to cover my stamping like this, and then bringing in my Misty tool again, I'm going to stamp the vine. So just line that up, make sure that's straight. I use my bar magnet to hold this in place, and it is very strong, as you heard. And stamp this, ink up the stem. I think I was off camera there, but there we go. All right. Good. Clean that real quick. Woo. Magnets, they are not playing. So then you can see the stamping behind it was protected, and the leaf is put in place. Now I think this is not going to be right because I moved that. Yeah, I need to move this too. Okay. Good. All right, believe it or not, we are making great progress here. And everyone wants to contact me on my phone when I'm doing videos. All right, now we're going to move on to the watercoloring. I'm going to start with the pencils. I'm going to start by going all over with the lightest color of purple. I can just lay it down, just making sure that I get a good coverage. I'm not really worried about the strokes showing or any of that right now. I just want the color in place. And now I'm going to focus on the center part and add a little bit extra color. Not too much, because this quickly is going to go crazy. And the same thing with the green. I'm not going to let any color come down on my masked area. Alright, take my water pen and a piece of paper, and I'll just get the pen, make sure the water is flowing, and it is. And you just blend out the colors, starting with the light area and working your way into the darker area and pulling the darker color out as you go. If you get a little bit too much of the dark out, you can just wipe it off real easily. And now I'm going to blend the dark area out. And that creates a natural shadow. Now I'm going to clear the brush. You just keep brushing it until the water flows clear, and then move on to the green. Okay, that's that. Very fast, very simple. That just needs to dry. Now for this, I'm going to use the zig markers, and I'm going to start off with this one. I'm going to go all over with the yellow, but this I need to be really light because this color is really intense. So I don't want to put as much as I did on the pencils, or I'll have color going everywhere. So you see, I'm putting it down really, really light. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of highlight of the orange, barely touching it. And then the center will be brown. Again, barely touching this. And you will see how this color will go all over the place once I get going. Make sure I don't have green still on here. And I'm starting with the lightest color on the edges, taking it to the edge. You see how vibrant the color is coming out? And now I'm going to slowly pull the orange out. And now I'm going to pull out the brown. Wipe some of that color off. And again, it creates natural shading. I'll pull the yellow in because I didn't like, there was too much brown going out. And it gives a nice shadow. Okay, I'm going to do both of these other flowers and I'll just speed it right up. Same method. Okay, that is the coloring. So I'm going to take this to my heat gun and hit it and dry it off a little bit. Alright, now that this is dry, I'm going to do the die cutting. As you see, these are all the die cuts that come in this set. These are the larger ones, and these are the smaller ones. The smaller ones are identical to the larger ones. So now it's just a matter of matching up the die cut to the stamping, and it is exactly precise. It doesn't have any outline on it. And if you didn't have these die cuts, you could fussy cut it with scissors. I probably wouldn't even try that, but some people are very good at fussy cutting. I am not one of those people. So once I get it in place, I'm going to take a Post-it. This is all over Post-it, by the way. And I'm going to put the Post-it on it to hold the die in place while I run it through my Big Shot. Okay, I think it's good. The paper's a little bit warped from all the moisture, but I'm going to give it one final adjustment once I get over to my big shot. But I just wanted to give you an idea of how to do it on camera. Where was that? Just going all over the place. Okay. Here we go. I think I'll be doing better. There we go. So I'm just going to run this through and I'll be right back. Okay. Here we are. And just pop them out. Oops. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. Get this out of the way. Okay. Now it's moving to the final assembly. I just need to get my bone folder, press my good seam, and adhesive on the back of the inside panel. Okay. And this, pay no attention to that. Okay. Be a little generous with the adhesive when you have a watercolor panel because the paper is a little warpy. That's my new word. It doesn't exist, I know. Okay, there we go. Oh, I just realized I've had that out the whole time. All right, and this is now adhered to that. Just make sure it's centered and straight. Now for the flowers, I'm going to pop them up with my foam tape. So I need 3 pieces of foam tape. Why am I cutting this backwards? I don't know. Alright, that might be a little big. Yes, it is. I'll do that one last. And now I need my sentiment on the top, which says Happy Mother's Day. So I need to allow enough room for the top flower so that you can see it. Good, and centered. And straight. Good. Now on go the flowers. I'm going to start with the bottom. Just personal preference. Actually, this is upside down. Woo! You didn't see that. That didn't happen. The top flower. Okay, now my favorite part, the sparkle. Sparkle all over the flowers. And just in case I picked up a little color, I didn't. This looks really, really sparkly. And I'm also going to just lightly, now I did pick up color. The one time I didn't do it, I picked up color. I'm going to lightly hit all over here so it gives a little bit of extra interest. Not too much though. There we go. Alright. That is my finished card. I really like how it came out despite that little bit. I may add a little rhinestones to the bottom. I'm not really sure yet, but I think that this is very pretty and very simple, and any mother in your life will be glad to get this card. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you and have a good day.